All right, so we're back with the GTHL Breakout Podcast. I'm Steph Karate, and I'm pleased to be joined by GTHL graduate and Vegas Golden Knights prospect, Ben Jones. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today, Ben.
Yeah, thank you for having me out here.
So I know you have an awesome off-ice project that you just launched that we'll get to in a bit, but let's start on the ice first, going back to your days in the GTHL with the Toronto Marlboros. So what do you remember most now about your time with the Marlboros? Does your favorite minor hockey memories tend to change as you get older and progress through your career?
A little bit, I guess, but I think, especially my last year with the team, we had a pretty good run. We had quite the team on there. I know we had a lot of guys that kind of went on to play in the OHL, and some guys that have made, played a lot of NHL games so far. Ryan McLeod being one of them. He's obviously up right now playing. So we had a pretty great group there, but we ended up, we won the OHL Cup that year. We also won the league. So, that's definitely the two kind of best memories I have, and I don't think that'll kind of change really as time goes on. Just kind of those two wins were pretty awesome, and we had a great group of guys to kind of go along with it.
As you move through your career, do wins like that maybe become more appreciated?
Yeah, definitely. At the time, you kind of think it feels like you're winning and you're going to win everything for the rest of your life, but haven't been fortunate to win anything else since then. So definitely kind of those moments I wish I appreciated more at the time.
Well, hopefully more wins to come. Your career still moving on up, so that's great. In the nature of moving up, you took your career from the Marlboros in minor hockey right to the Ontario Hockey League with the Niagara Ice Dogs, the team that you eventually captained in 2018-19. What did being a captain of a major junior team mean to you?
Yeah, it was pretty special. Kind of being with that same team for 4 years, you kind of learned kind of the culture of the organization, what they were kind of preaching from the owners and from the coaches and management as well. And I was, again, fortunate enough that we had a great group of guys. We had an awesome team. Kind of anyone could have been the captain of that team. We had guys come in at the deadline my last year when we were really trying to make a run for it that had been captains on former teams, and guys that would have been captains on other teams. So it was really just a big honor to kind of wear that letter every game. But with the group that we had, there wasn't much leadership that really needed to be done at the time. Honestly, we had, again, such a good group of guys that turned into pros, and a lot of guys didn't really need much leadership, to be honest. We had a pretty old group of guys. So it was pretty awesome. It was nice to kind of be recognized by the team for that, and then just by the fans as well. It was a great spot to be in, and I'm really lucky that I got to spend 4 years there.
Well, you're leading off the ice now too. We alluded to it at the beginning there, but you recently launched the Ben Jones Foundation. What was the inspiration or motivation behind building this foundation? So I know that it has a tagline of giving kids the opportunity to play.
Yeah, so it's kind of something I've been wanting to do for a long time, kind of since more so since my pro career took off, is I wanted to kind of have more of an impact off the ice. I think that we as hockey players and as professional athletes, we have a big responsibility, I think, to kind of lead in the right way, and we can do extra things kind of off the ice that people will follow and people will kind of pay attention to, and kids can look up to. So it was something that I really wanted to do for a long time, and it kind of just fell into place this summer. And working with Fox Ellis agency, they kind of helped me put everything together. So it kind of worked out well, just getting in touch with them, and they kind of had an appreciation for the vision that I had. And it kind of, again, like it just worked out well that it launched this year. There wasn't specifically anything kind of this year that went into why it was this year, but it ended up working out well. And it's just, the real reason why I wanted to kind of start it and have that kind of tagline is I know that I was fortunate enough to be able to grow up playing sports, and without that, there's no way that without the opportunities that I was given through my parents and through the hard work they put in, and the time commitments and the financial commitments, there's no way I would be here. I know that, and I was very fortunate to have parents like that could do that. And there's kids all over that they just don't have the opportunity for those kind of chances. There's a lot of challenges that families face, and kind of that tagline is alluding to trying to give everyone the chance to play. So the idea behind it is trying to get kids, covers for team fees, for equipment, for stuff that financially is an outrageous amount of money. A pair of skates now is, $1,200. The new stick is $400. You can break it in 3 tries. So it's just trying to kind of reduce some of those challenges and some of those burdens on parents to give kind of kids every opportunity to play. And it's not just hockey, it's for every sport. So, there's obviously some sports where you need more gear than others. Hockey, especially, you need head to toe covered in protection, but there's other sports that you don't need that. So it's not just solely focused on hockey at all. It's kind of just allowing all kids to try any sport they want to and try to help out with the financial commitments that they have to do to be allowed to.
So is the foundation focusing on a specific area, or is it going to be geared towards maybe an application process?
Yeah, so it'll be kind of, we're kind of in the works of figuring that out. We're trying to work with some new partners to try and figure out how the best way to do that. I definitely want to have a kind of direct impact with Kitchener-Waterloo, where I'm from. So I would love to kind of have a direct impact with that. And I think it's going to be exciting, kind of some stuff that comes out in the next coming little bit about kind of how we're going to swing that. So,
well, and you touched on it a little bit, but what are the long-term or maybe big picture goals for the foundation?
Yeah, I guess it's something that I kind of want to do forever, right? So I can only play for however long my body and whatever kind of allows it to, but I want it to be something that's kind of a long-term thing, something I can kind of do and contribute to for the rest of my life, and do things, whether it's, a golf tournament, a road hockey tournament, stuff like that, that just kind of brings more kind of awareness to it and kind of just alludes more to, I guess, a lot of the awareness is just kind of where I'm aiming, but long-term, that's kind of the thought as of right now, and we'll kind of see where it takes us.
And for those interested, where can someone find out more information and learn about the Ben Jones Foundation?
Yeah, so I have the website. It's just www.benjonesfoundation.com. You'll kind of see a little tidbit about the foundation. You can donate from there, or you can kind of buy some merch with logo that we designed and kind of contribute that way. And that will go into the foundation as well. So the proceeds will go into there.
No, that's awesome. It's all very exciting. And for you to put yourself out there, it's never easy to do that. And to have those big goals, especially keeping kids in sports, is very important. But it seems only fitting because you made your NHL debut this season with Vegas, and it came on a very philanthropic night. So you debuted actually on Hockey Fights Cancer Night. How did suiting up and playing your first NHL game feel?
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty, I didn't really have much time to think about it. We had kind of situations where guys were testing positive, fake positives, stuff that kind of randomly happened, that the opportunity kind of came that I was going to play. And then I was playing on a different line, in a different position, and then someone has a false positive, so they're back. And it was a bit chaotic, which was almost nicer because it kind of didn't give me any time to think about it. So I kind of got the call. I got told that I was going to play. I got called up on Thursday, didn't play for that game, and then ended up playing on the Saturday, I think it was, which ended up being Hockey Fights Cancer Night, like you mentioned. And that was kind of pretty special. With what we had, about 4 guys that were on the Henderson American League team, and our head coach was just diagnosed with cancer right before that, not long before that. So it was pretty special that we got to kind of all be a part of that and got to kind of show our support in the ways that we could for that game. But yeah, like I said, I didn't really have too much time to think about it. I kind of just got told and kind of just jumped right into it. So,
and were you able to have any family come down potentially, maybe?
Yeah, so they actually came down. It was a bit chaotic again with having a COVID test and figure out everything to try and get into Vegas, but they ended up coming in. Both my parents, my sister, my girlfriend flew in together, and then one of my best friends, who's actually also played in the GTHL, he jumped on a flight and flew down from Florida. So it was a pretty special night that I got to have everyone there for.
No, that's great. I'm glad people got to be there for that milestone. Was there anything about playing your first game that maybe threw you for a loop, like surprised you about the experience?
I think the only thing that was kind of surprising was that I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. Kind of thought that, the night before you kind of are sitting there not being able to sleep, kind of being more nervous than when you actually get into it. It's just a hockey game. So everyone was extremely welcoming there. All the guys were very happy to have me there and talking to me and just trying to, calm the nerves. And the coaches were great too, just saying, like, play the way that you are. you're here for a reason, and just kind of trust that. And everyone was really great at kind of saying congratulations and very welcoming. And I mean, again, one of the other surprising things was that the arena. I mean, T-Mobile is everyone said kind of one of the craziest rinks in all of hockey. So playing in front of that crowd, especially on that night, was one of the craziest experience and probably the best crowd I have ever played in front of. So actually, definitely it was, but it was really special, and it was a great experience.
Well, and you mentioned that you had that personal connection when you guys suited up for Vegas with the Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Do nights like that hit home, especially when those connections are there, of how important the various efforts are throughout hockey to bring awareness to so many different things and keeping pro athletes specifically involved that way?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was, again, it was a very special night based on kind of that situation that we had with our head coach, and luckily and thankfully he's all healthy now and everything's all good now. So we were really lucky to kind of be a part of that night and try and bring more awareness towards that situation. But it's exactly like you said, those nights kind of show how important it is to just bring awareness to that topic, to that conversation.
How important do you think it is for athletes like yourself launching a foundation and then just being involved in local communities and just overall efforts to bring awareness to different things, to use their platforms when they have them?
Yeah, I think it's really important. That was kind of one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to get into the foundation. And I think we, as pro athletes, kind of underestimate, and we can't underestimate the impact and the effect that we have on communities, on kids especially. They flip on the TV to watch what we think is kind of our normal day-to-day routine, but for them, that's kind of, I remember being a kid and watching OHL games and thinking that was the bee's knees at the time. You want to be there. And just, I think, again, we underestimate a little bit kind of the impact that we can have. And I think it is very important to, especially, if you can do something extra, every day, whether it's in the community or whatnot, I think it goes a long way. And it really just kind of brings a positive atmosphere, especially to kids, again, that, they can aspire to their dreams and their aspirations that they put forth. And if we can help in any way using our platforms, I think that's a great way that we can do that.
And it goes back to the message that I think is being pushed more, especially for younger players, that you should be looking at yourself as a person first and a hockey player second. So even outside of being a pro athlete, the kids in the grassroots and minor hockey and other minor sports, what would you say to them about just getting involved in their community now and doing what they can now?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's really important. Again, like you said, you want to be a person before a hockey player. You don't want hockey to be a be-all, end-all. You don't want a bad practice to kind of ruin your entire day. So you want to be a good person at the end of the day first, and kind of let things fall where they lie. And all you can do is really work hard. If you decide to play sports, you decide to be a hockey player, all you can do is kind of put forth your best effort and attitude each day. And then in the community, just try and be kind of the best person you can be, whether it's, helping, holding a door open for someone. It's stuff like the small things that really go a long way, that I think we can kind of get away from. And we get stuck in this world of hockey that sometimes we kind of can't see out of. But I think it's important to kind of, like you said, be a person first and kind of focus on hockey as a bit of a second thing sometimes.
And you're pushing forward. Obviously, your pro career is having great success, and you're reaching those milestones, and you're making waves off the ice now as well. But what's next for Ben Jones? So any other big plans, obviously, besides maybe playing a lot of golf? I know you're a big golfer.
Yeah, no, I'm not really too sure what's next. Just trying to focus on kind of, we're not quite halfway through the season here now, but trying to focus on having a good season and just getting hopefully, we have a good team, so hopefully we can make a long playoff run. And then, like you said, when golf season hits, try and get better at that. It's frustrating being not so good at it all the time. So try and get better at that, but just have some fun and then kind of see where the foundation can take me moving forward.
So off that, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit about the multi-sport discussion that, again, is also being pushed more and more. How important do you think it is for athletes of any sport to branch out and play different sports when they can?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Growing up, I was kind of playing every sport. I was fortunate enough that I got to play soccer at a high level as well as hockey, which kind of worked out with the seasons. But I know a lot of guys, a lot of my good friends growing up were kind of the same. They were playing lacrosse and whatnot. I know Nate Schnarr, everyone I'm sure knows that name, but he, one of my best friends growing up, and he was a big lacrosse player and whatnot. So we would kind of battle back and forth at our dual sportness, if that's the way you say it. But no, I think it's really important. You don't want to get stuck playing hockey only. You don't want to be kind of too focused on that and be kind of one sport focused, because I think you can underestimate how easy it is to burn out. And, everyone that I've talked to, especially turning pro and stuff, you burn out of hockey after a while. It becomes a job. And obviously we love doing it, and we're lucky enough that we get to do it every day, but it's fun to jump in other sports. It's fun to go out and try something that you're, maybe not as good at and try and get better at. Golf especially is something that a lot of hockey players get into because it's kind of something you can never perfect and something that kind of keeps you honest. But no, I think growing up especially, it's really important to try different sports, try different things. You meet different people, you connect with all different kinds of communities and people and coaches and all different styles of coaching and whatnot, that I think is really important. So that's something I definitely recommend for every kid growing up, is to try everything. Why not? It's fun.
Oh, absolutely. And beyond that, if there was one message that you wish young kids in the game now could hear or follow, what would that one message or piece of advice be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think kind of what I mentioned earlier. I think the only two things you can kind of focus on every day is your effort and your attitude. Whether it's in school, whether it's in sports, regardless of what it is, you can control kind of how you approach things and the effort that you put into it. And if it's going to go well for you, then it's going to go well. And some days it's not going to go well. And that's kind of just the way that life is. And if you can control those two things, really focus on it and just put your best foot forward every day, I think that's all you can really ask of yourself. And that's all anyone can ever really ask of you, is to just try and put forth your best effort and your best attitude and kind of see where things can take you.
And beyond that, last one I'll throw at you. You mentioned the great support that you had from your parents growing up in the game. On the advice umbrella, what advice would you give hockey parents maybe today in today's game?
Oof. Give me some hard questions here. I don't know. I mean, I think, every kid kind of dreams of having their parents support them and be proud of them no matter what. So I think if you just can kind of instill that, and just, there's going to be bad days, there's going to be bad games, there's going to be good games and good days. So I think just trying to be as even keel and supportive as you can, and just let the kid kind of do what they want. I think that's where I was really lucky, as my parents, were hard on me at times, of course, as everyone is, but they really just wanted me to have fun, and they really wanted me to just kind of be around the rink having fun. And again, being a good person first was something that they really wanted to instill in me.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, both with your foundation and your messages, is that fun and getting kids in sports and just to enjoy themselves is really the ultimate goal and purpose of why we do what we do. And we're really proud to have you as an alumnus. We really appreciate your time, Ben, and we're really excited to hear and see what the Ben Jones Foundation accomplishes as we continue to try to get more kids in sports and help out where we can. So we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you for having me on. It's really happy to kind of chat and go through everything.
And that's today's episode of the GTHL Breakout Podcast. We're going to be back with more off-ice stories just like Ben's.